And we're live. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. I've got my normal guest, Jay Nagy. Subscribe to his YouTube, please, if you haven't already. I know it's hard. Go to his channel. You click a button, and that's it.
I'm up to 27 subscribers. I got to stop getting drunk during the week so I can actually put up videos.
Yeah. You got to use that whiteboard more, man. You put all that investing into it.
No, dude. I do. There's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. Like, I was going to propose this to you too, man. We should do a react series to Jeremy's videos.
That's not a bad idea.
And a lot of these YouTubers' ideas where we're like, where we're sitting there like, what are you talking about? Why are you buying REITs outside of a tax-advantaged account? They're non-qualified dividends, which means they're taxed as ordinary income. You know,
yeah,
it's like
I think Ryan Scribner's more guilty of like tax inefficient. I mean, Jeremy's just like an idiot all around. So there's really he doesn't really invest based on dividends. He's more of like a small cap, finding the next huge, massive company kind of guy.
Yeah.
This must be like a bot or something. Like literally every time I go live, I get this message.
Probably.
Whatever.
Yeah. Scribner to me isn't that bad. I mean, he made a $300 course. You know, I took it just because I have disposable income and I just wanted to see what he was selling. I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's immoral to build up a fan base and then bilk them for $300, but it's not as bad as what Jeremy's doing with $15,000. That's just villainy right there, dude. He's straight up.
$300 not gonna like bankrupt you or ruin your life, whereas $15,000, people are probably using all their emergency savings or their stimulus checks to pay for his stupid advice.
Well, he has veterans in there. That's what they said to me on the phone. They're like, the guy tried to like get me back in by saying, well, we have other veterans. I go, so what you're saying is you're stealing from my brothers and sisters now too.
Yeah.
And he was like, but bro, I was thinking we just got to figure out.
Dude, Jay Cabrera. Every time I start the live stream, I immediately see that symbol. It's like the second I go live, I see the symbol. That's why I was like, this guy must be a bot because every freaking time it happens. So I apologize for calling you a bot. Okay, you're very fast with your messages.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious.
Right now,
huh?
Guess what Bitcoin's at right now?
It's like 55,000, isn't it?
61,000.
There's a whole bunch of people, like economists now, they're coming out and they're like bankers, they're saying Bitcoin's intrinsic value is 0. But I think the institutions are going to push Bitcoin and they're going to offload it at some ridiculous price level. I scoffed at it when JP Morgan said it could be 350,000 by the end of this year, but now I'm not so sure, dude.
I mean, I think it could go to insane levels because there's no intrinsic value, so there's no way to value it. So people can just throw whatever amount of money. You know, it's like the tulips in the Netherlands in like the 1600s. People just will pay whatever because they think it's worth it. So Bitcoin could go crazy.
Dude, in all honesty, this is what I would say if you're watching this. There's money to be made in crypto if you're willing to take the chance. Like whenever you get an investment that gets irrational exuberance, if you know what you're doing, there's money to be made in it. Am I personally going to do it? No. I might throw $100 at it just to watch it, so it's there. Like in my Fidelity account, Jeremy recommended like a penny stock, so I bought one share of it just so I know. What are you recommending, dude? This is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like you can make money off what the YouTubers say, but you have to realize you're making money simply because other people are going to buy it from you at a higher price, not because of any fundamental, value based on the investment. So, I mean, yeah, you can buy Bitcoin. I mean, I wouldn't have a lot of it. I don't have any of it. I don't care. I don't care if it goes to $1 trillion per Bitcoin. It's worthless. So I'm never going to buy it. But, if you want to play around, don't put all your money into it. You go right ahead, But don't cry to me. It crashes.
There's a YouTuber, Andre Geek. I don't really have so much a problem with this guy. The way for a long time he was investing, I thought was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. When he had like 200 different dividend paying stocks, and I'm like, even though you don't work full time, just making your YouTube videos occupies too much of your time to keep track of those companies. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But
yeah, if you have 200, you might as well just get a dividend ETF. Like, just put it all in,
Buy VYM. It's mostly a value play, and it pays 3%, which is better than most of what you're looking at. But he has like $500,000 in Bitcoin.
He probably has about $700 now.
But, dude, one thing I am killing myself. I read about Bitcoin back in 2010. No, I didn't know anything about investing back then either. But I was like, what is this? I'm like, I got $1,000. I should just buy this. And then if you want to torture yourself, at the 2016 highs, I would have made about $27 million.
Yeah. Well, there was actually do you know the game StarCraft Brood War?
Mm-hmm.
So it was about 10 years ago, there was a contest, and they had different prize levels. And if you won, you got like 5,000. And if you got second, you got like 1,000. And then it was like if you got fifth place, you got like 10 Bitcoins, which back then it was like worthless crap. But could you imagine now if like the loser of the tournament or the lowest ranking guy got 10 Bitcoins and now he's like the richest out of all of them?
Yeah. No, dude, it would be. I mean, what it's at. So you have 550,000. Or no, he'd have $600,000.
Yeah.
He would have made off that. But yeah, dude, it's impossible to. I couldn't have anticipated that so many people were going to flood into this fake money, and how many people are just starting a new cryptocurrency every week.
Yeah, I mean, if you go outside the Coinbase app, because like I get free cryptos and then I immediately sell them and move the cash into mine.
You're doing that? I was thinking about doing that. Is it a good idea?
You're not going to make a fortune, but I got like $32. It's like whatever.
I'll take 32 extra bucks, dude.
Yeah,
like I was thinking about. All right, I bought a new computer because this one's at the end of its life. I mean, I went pretty frugal, but I got a little bit better. I dropped $500 on this laptop. I haven't set it up yet, but I'm gonna let it do the little mining thing or whatever, where they're like, we'll pay. It ends up a couple cents a day, but I don't care. It's free money. I'm not doing anything for it.
Well, they're going to be using your power, aren't they? Like if they're using your computer, you might be paying more in electricity than you do in mining.
I don't think that computer's got that much of a draw.
Yeah, I mean, you can compare your power bill, see what happens. Imagine if you got like $100.
I'm not going to set up like a server farm in here to mine crypto. But okay, so we're going to figure this. All right, so this is the advice I have to give you about Jeremy to get him to contact you. Say you have a portfolio. I said I had a $300,000 portfolio, and it was all in index funds. But I had seen Jeremy's thing, and he said he could get higher returns from index funds. And I had about, I forget what I said, $1,500 or $2,000 a month to invest. So You want to make it like reasonable and that you don't know any like well, I've just been maxing my 401k for the past 20 years. I'm just looking to get a better return.
Should I stop doing that, Jeremy? Should I stop maxing my Roth and buying total world stock market index funds? What do you think about that, Jeremy? I mean, I want to personally talk to him because, like, if you say you're high enough net worth, if you're high enough net worth, maybe he will, like maybe he takes the big climb.
We might be able to do that, man. If this goes successful, we could probably go get Drew and see if we can get him to be like, say I inherited $10 million and my dad passed away. I inherited $10 million. Jeremy's apparently the most popular YouTuber out there, and he's getting mad gains.
Yeah, but the thing is, he might ask for an upfront payment, because maybe he's been trolled before.
No, they're not going to. He asked me to pay. He was going to ask me to pay at the end of the interview because I let him run through his spiel, and he goes, "What kind of returns are you getting right now?" I go, "Well, my portfolio is returned about 12%." He goes, "Oh, 12%." He goes, "Well, if we can get you 25% returns," so I had him trapped there. And then I go, "Okay, whatever." Then he goes, "Jeremy will look through your portfolio. You'll even get to talk to Jeremy about your portfolio. And then coaches will work with you." And I just go, yeah. I go, "So you're saying that you can get a 25% return?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "All right. Well, you know how many investors have consistently done that in the past century?"
Jeremy.
Less than 15.
Only Jeremy.
Yeah, pretty much. I said, even Warren Buffett's net return over his lifetime is 19 point something percent. And this dude starts stammering, and I go, "So what's he basing his stock picks on? Or what's he doing? What kind of analyzation is he doing?" And this dude couldn't answer any of those questions. I go,
I mean, I know what he does. He picks these small companies that people are starting to be hyped about, and he's like, in 10 years, this company could 1,000x because it's possible with really small companies for that to happen. Yeah. So you just throw crap on the wall until you find that one small company that you think is big or it's going to be big. And then, you can claim that you're the greatest stock picker ever.
The thing is a lot of people look at him and he talks about they tried to tell me, he's like, "Well, Jeremy has gained blah, blah, blah over the 90%. I go, "So what?" I'm like, my U.S. growth fund gained 68% in a year, and I did no work for it, and I took no risk.
Yeah, I wonder if they actually, follow up with you and coach you through. Because if they just give you these initial stock picks and then you buy them, do they keep updating you and telling you more? Because you might buy stocks that do good for a year and then suck for the rest.
Well, and then he tried to reassure me. He goes, "We have some really smart people." "What's up, buddy? What's going on?"
What's up, bro?
He said we have some really smart people. He goes, "We have Tesla engineers in our group." And I go, "What does being a Tesla engineer have anything to do with picking stocks?"
They're smart, bro. All you gotta do is have all you have to do is have a master's degree, and you're obviously a great stock picker. But I had a bachelor's in history when I was in the military. That's all. I didn't have any accounting, nothing. And I was a better investor than 99% of people.
Because you invested in index funds.
Exactly. That's all. Target Retirement Fund and the TSP. Genius.
Yeah, dude. But what I was thinking about we could do is we'll figure out how. Just say I'm like your cousin or something, and I'm interested in doing it too. And I'll say something ridiculous, but you be the guy who's just asking the questions, and I'll be normal most of the time, but I'll occasionally throw in increasingly bizarre stuff that's just completely off target. Like I had one idea, when I'm talking to him, he's like, "So, what happened with you?" I'd be like, "Well, my pool boy Armando lost $100,000 day trading." and I need to get those gains back or whatever. I was thinking about talking about how Andrew Cuomo beat me with a phone book, like just ridiculous off the subject stuff, like fake things.
You can't be too crazy because then they'll catch on that it's a troll. But
no,
hey,
but I won't.
Sorry, if the viewers don't know, we're talking about Jeremy Lefebvre or whatever. He's a guy, financial education, Lefebvre, and he's got that little sun hat that he wears all the time.
Dude, I'm gonna have that hat. I'm gonna have that hat when we do this. And if the guy sees it, he's like, "Oh, it's like a hat Jeremy wears." Like, yeah, I'm a big fan, man.
Here, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can share my screen and show this idiot. My beautiful subscribers, if you're watching this man taking advice from him, you are wrong. You are deadly, deadly wrong. All right, hold on a second. Let's see if this works. See, I'm becoming a master. There we go. Y'all see that? See this piece of crap right here? Would you trust this man with your retirement?
Dude, he's you know what? You know who this guy is?
Look at this. Oh my, look at that face. Look at that expression.
Oh, just so you know, if you're a fan of this dude and he talks about how he amassed his $200,000 portfolio from 18 to 25, yeah, I did a video on how that's impossible and he would have actually had to invest more money than he had. But no, who that guy is that's the guy that talks to me and he's like, "Oh, you do stand-up comedy?" He's a YouTuber that thinks he can go up and be funny in front of normal people that he's never met before. He's that type of YouTuber. They come into every scene. There'll be some guys like, "Yeah, I'm a YouTuber." Like, okay, that's great. You're at the open mic. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm really good." Like, okay, we all know you're not. He goes up there and he's shocked that he can't make anybody laugh.
But you have to admit, he has the sweetest intro to his videos. It's like, that's all you got to do to be a millionaire on YouTube, apparently.
Yeah, and just say, "Holy smokers, you ain't no jokers."
Tesla my Esla.
Tesla my ass.
I was so pissed when Tesla. Yeah. So like Tesla would drop down to like what 560 or something, and then the next day it went up 20%. I was like, whoa.
Dude, I was so excited, but I knew it wasn't the end. I knew you were right. Stimmy checks would flood back into it, and Nate and I were talking about this. Nate said it isn't going to crash till after the Tesla truck, and he's right. I didn't even think of that. There's too much hype behind it for these retards to realize that.
Dude, nothing is going to stop Tesla, man. Nothing. It's going to be up there for a long time. Like, I am not expecting it to crash. I mean, unless interest rates start going crazy after the stimulus checks, then maybe. But until that happens, I don't know, man. There's too many clowns out there.
In speculative. Yeah, 100%, man.
It's like little kids with their iPhones doing Robinhood made more money they made money with unrealized gains, than hedge funds.
Well,
he's not even a dude bro. He's like a dude bro, at least is kind of cool, like he can like swing some women. That guy, I'm not going to say anything bad about his wife, but I mean, like in general, I don't think many women are going to be attracted to him, in my personal opinion.
But personally, man, I think the guy's fake. Like I when I watch some of these videos, I just look at him. I'm like, okay, Scribner's just a dork. All right, I'd be nice to him. Andre G might make me laugh on occasion. I might be like, all right, he's not a bad guy.
He's got the card tricks.
Yeah, he's doing his little card tricks and stuff.
Let's just Marco disappear.
Yeah, but Jeremy Lefebvre, you know him. You can smell it, dude. You're in the military. He's that guy that we're all just looking at like, how am I serving with this fucking weirdo?
Yeah, except he's your battalion commander. Listen to him.
Dude, he's the type of dude that's trying to bang your girl behind your back and pretend like she's with me.
I wouldn't be worried about that, to be perfectly honest.
No, any woman that I would date would look at him and be like, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not a woman. I don't know what they find attractive. Maybe he's irresistible. Maybe he's got like a harem. And like 20 kids.
Dude, he could. He's got that. He's got all sorts of money. He's got that YouTube money. Not that. Hey, I want YouTube money. Buy guns with it on top of stocks.
No, I'm doing YouTube out of the kindness of my heart. Okay. I never will accept a dime in YouTube dollars if I ever get them.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah,
but at least I'm honest.
My goal, I'll be straight up. My goal is to become a stand-up comedian and be on YouTube. Like I love talking about like investing, but it's not what I really wanted. I don't really want to run a channel with one particular theme. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about on there. Half the time it's going to involve the markets and my thoughts on certain stocks. Sometimes I just want to talk about the horror of a beautiful Hollywood actress marrying into royalty and then getting her feelings hurt. Because I couldn't even sleep that night knowing that this karmic injustice existed in the world.
I about had a heart attack when I watched that interview, and I watched every second of it, okay?
I mean, poor Meghan Markle. I mean, she's only worth $150 million, right?
I just don't get the people that even waste their time watching that crap. You went to a Tesla dealership. You're on this channel. You went to a Tesla dealership. Are you serious? How could you?
What's that? Okay. No, dude, I don't think the cars are bad cars. I don't think they offer a bad product. I think the company could one day exist in the space with the legacy automakers. All I'm saying is the stock is massively overvalued for the amount of profits.
Yeah, it's like I've never seen a stock that insane, with over 1,000 PE. I mean, when I see a stock with like 30, I'm like,
Chris, Chris, you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit too. All right, viewers, who's breaking up, me or Jay? We need to know. Maybe I have to sign out and sign back in.
Let me leave the studio and come back.
Well, I've been abandoned. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I don't know if it's like breaking up or not, but every time I connect with people, I always have freaking internet problems. But then again, maybe it's everybody else and maybe it's not me. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, apparently nobody was breaking up, but yeah, he was breaking up for me a little bit. We usually have that problem.
Yeah, I'm back in the saddle again. Yeah, no, I don't hate the Tesla company, but I mean, if you want my real opinion on it, I don't even think they're going to be the largest EV maker. I think Volkswagen, which is already currently beating them in Europe, and I think China is going to end up with a larger market share. And then people will say, well, it's the technology. Okay, but Volkswagen has a lot more legacy automaker money to erode your lead in software. So, I mean, solar power. Sorry, man. Solar doesn't have a wide moat either.
What pisses me off about EVs is like, doesn't it take like 45 minutes to charge them? So if you're like going on a road trip, right? You're driving, trying to get somewhere, and then your car's about to die. So you got to stop for like 30 minutes and charge your freaking car, and it takes like, 2 minutes at the gas station?
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes, but I think it is something like 45 minutes. And
ridiculous.
I mean,
so NIO, they actually have like swappable batteries where you drive into this little pod and then they swap the battery. That's actually, in my opinion, probably better.
I agree with you.
Who? Jay Nagy?
Albanistan? I don't get it.
I don't know. Please explain, Jay Cabrera. We're confused.
Yeah. Albanistan. I don't even know. Is that
You have an Albany internet connection? Is that why?
I think he was getting on the internet connection. I don't know, man. I'm using Spectrum. I got the supposed best Spectrum, but it seems to suck.
Spectrum. I've got Verizon Fios.
Dude, I should see if they have Verizon down here and switch over to them. I mean, I have
no problems. Like everybody else in the neighborhood has Comcast, and I was like, Verizon's cheaper, and I got it. It was like way cheaper, and it works just fine. I've had no issues. It's like, why pay more money so you can, be like everybody else?
Well, dude, you know why? I mean, I live in a neighborhood where people have their jacked up F-350 pickup trucks, and I'm just looking at them like doing the mental math on their car payment. I'm like, you're paying $900 a month at minimum for that thing.
Oh, dude. So today, me and my wife, like we always like try to get out of the house on Saturday and do things. And we drove through this like rich neighborhood. And these houses were like massive. They had massive yards. They had like top of the line freaking cars, like, what do you call them? Cadillacs and Porsches and all that stuff. And I was like, how do these people afford this? I mean, you have to make probably $500,000 a year to even comfortably live. If you make less than that, there's money.
Yeah. There is no way I would have any of that stuff unless I was like ridiculously rich. And even if I was ridiculously rich, I would still end up living below my means. It's like, unless I've got like, $50 million in the bank, or I don't, what's reasonable, 20 million in the bank. First off, I'd never buy a Ferrari anyways. They just don't appeal to me. Yeah, no, you're 100% right, bro. It is all fake. It's the illusion of wealth that we rail against. I am, but I'm not jealous of their debt. I don't even want a giant, stupid, souped-up F-350.
Dude, like I'm thinking, like if I stopped saving, if I didn't save a dime, I could probably get a nice freaking place. Especially if I get a couple more raises. Like you can live really high fashionably if you don't save money.
Oh yeah, dude, my house could be just packed with gadgets and toys, but it doesn't appeal to me. I want to be in a spot where I'm not relying on anything, where the day comes where I just go, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't need this. I'll make YouTube videos, get a dog, go on the road, do stand-up comedy. It's what I want to do. And I don't hate working. I hate office politics. I hate going to a place and having to coddle people's egos. Like when I go to work, I'm just there to work. I'm not there to be your friend. I would rather work with friends, but I'm not there to be sufficiently deferent to whoever is the boss to the point where I'm kissing their ass. You want somebody that does that, you're going to have to find somebody else. I'm just there to work.
Yeah, I hate the ass kissing. Like in the military, I was an officer, and you got to do that to really do well. That didn't work out. And now, like, with my current job, I can make good money without ever getting into a management role. But if you want to get into a management role, you got to like do all the extra work and blah, 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 which like, I'm not going to join some stupid team or whatever, that doesn't accomplish anything just to get brownie points. I mean, I got my CPA. Is that not enough for you? Huh? Is that not enough?
Well,
apparently not.
It's this thing that I've noticed where I work, where I just look at certain people and I'm like, I know what you're doing. I just don't respect you. I know that you only say the things that you say so that your boss, so you get brownie points with your boss. I know that's what you're doing, and it's gross. Like you'll be the number one guy where I work. You ask me a question, you're going to get a straightforward. It might be more diplomatic.
I had this crazy thought. I was like, so I'm like 1/4 Italian, and I was like, is that kind of like some kind of diversity thing that I could qualify for? I mean, because like you can basically claim anything. Like, would Italian qualify under that, or would I just be taking a shot?
No, you need to figure out something like. I got a joke coming out that I'm like, it's a pleasure for me to be part of the LGBTQA movement. Like, I just want to come out of the closet that I'm an amosexual. I love guns. It's great to be a part of a team now. Like, I'm just so it's increasingly like a victimhood mentality. It's so ridiculous to stand back and watch. It's so ridiculous, the victimhood mentality now, that a beautiful Hollywood actress who married into royalty, the worst thing that ever happened to her is she's sitting there just claiming victimhood status. And I'm like, okay, if that's what we're doing.
I mean, she's making a boatload of money, though. I mean, like, I know what she's doing. She's just trying to get more attention so she makes more money. But, a lot of people don't see it. They're just like, oh, this is terrible. What a poor girl. And she's just raking in the cash, media attention, book deals, whatever she's going to get.
Well, that's why I respect Piers Morgan. Do it, dude. If you have to, if you can. I'm not hating on it.
Yeah, I mean, I got hired at my job because I'm a veteran. I mean, there's always like special prevalent preferences you can do and take advantage of. And if you can do it, I would do it.
Yeah, dude, get yourself in a position where you don't ever have to do anything again by whatever means necessary other than stealing from me.
Yeah, just don't vote the radio. Okay, but if you want to use that to get a promotion, whatever. As long as I don't have to pay more money to the government every month, which is probably a few dollar thing to want because it's going to happen, but whatever.
Well, I mean, this is the thing I've told you about. I actually wouldn't mind paying higher taxes. Dude, I know you did. I'm not blaming you, man. I take full advantage of being a veteran.
Oh, Lowe's has veteran parking now. Did you know that? I'm starting to see those signs crop up. I'm like, oh, I was laughing so hard as I pulled into my veteran parking space.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I think I'm going to have to get surgery, man. So I might need that. I might be in the handicap space for a while because the VA called. I ripped both of my hip. I tore both my hip muscles.
Like recently, or in the military?
No, recently.
Dude, you need to get some cush office job doing like accounting or finance. If you're a veteran, man, and you got a bachelor's. Yeah. I know you can freaking get one. Or you could do the Pathways program, which is what I did, where you're basically enrolled in a school and then you apply for federal jobs under Pathways. And you're basically like you're an intern almost. And when you graduate, they convert you to full-time employment. You would definitely be able to do that, man.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to reasonably accommodate to a job where I can sit until something like that opens up.
Yeah, I'm saying if you enroll in like Western Governors University, it's super cheap. It's like $3,000 or $4,000 every 6 months, and then you go to that, and then you keep applying to those federal jobs until you get one, and then boom, you're GS7, and then you get GS9, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm in right now. I just, we'll talk offline. I pissed off the wrong person.
The wrong person. Was it Jeremy? Did Jeremy make a phone call?
He did, dude. And he got I don't like his style, and I just wouldn't compliment him on his stupid hats. And I pissed off the wrong person. We'll just say that. But
yeah, I want to hear that story later. So you've been talking about that for a while. I need to hear it.
Yeah, dude, it's partially my fault, and I said I just pissed off the wrong person. So, well, I'm not going to blurt it out.
No, you don't have to talk about it right now.
Yeah, but at a certain point, man, I'm just going to have to. It's like I don't know how much longer. That's when you were like, we're going to roll. I'm like, dude, we're not rolling. There is way too much wrong. I can't dude, I wouldn't even be able to, like, with my forearm pulled, I wouldn't even be able to reach in on your collar there and choke you with that sweatshirt. It would hurt too much for me to put that kind of pressure. It's
Look,
like,
I
bro,
only wrestle guys that are smaller or that have, disabilities. So that means I win no matter what.
So I'm perfect for you. 175 right now. 5'11", 175 at the moment. Like somebody once, dude, somebody once threatened to kick my ass, and I looked at him like, I go, I'd be upset if you couldn't kick my ass.
I'm not much of a champ.
I was like, I would have no respect for your fighting ability if you can't beat me up. I'm like, I'm way too injured to be doing that, man.
Aren't you 100% now?
Yeah.
Dude, do you even have to work? I mean, can you like hang out until you find something else?
I mean, I don't have to, but I'm trying to get into a position which I'm going to be at, where I'm saving my entire paycheck every year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like quit work forever, but like if your job's jacking you up, and you can survive without working, you can take a lot of time to, build your YouTube and apply for a bunch of jobs and stuff like that. It's an option, if it's really jacking you up that bad.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see what they're going to do with my torn hip muscles, because they're getting progressively worse.
All right, hey, I actually have a spare room, so if you want to come up here, I'll pay you. I'll charge you $1,500 a month, and you can stay. You can stay in my smallest room. Okay, how about that,
bro? You're asking. I pay less than that on my mortgage, and I own this place.
Yeah, but we're buddies. You got to help me out, man.
Dude, if I could do it all over again, though, I really would have just went the condo route. Like 70 grand, dude. My mortgage would have been like $400 a month. So I'd just be buying fucking, outside of saving my work paycheck, I would just be crushing Vanguard too.
Yeah, like I got the smallest house that I possibly could, planning to have 2 or 3 kids. Like, but I wish I could have like one of those tiny homes where it's literally like 50 grand or less. And you just have like I think a bedroom and like a living room. Like, what else do you need? You don't have to do anything. You just
yeah. Dude, this house that I'm in is tiny, dude. Like, what you see is what you get here. I forget what the square footage is, but I mean, I have a tiny kitchen over there, and then there's 2 bedrooms back there. And I mean, honestly, this is actually more than I need. Because the problem became that I didn't plan this out, right? Got a spare bedroom. Now, mom and stepdad, because they're up in Ocala, they're like, hey, can we put a bed in your spare bedroom so that, when we're in town, we can stay? And I'm like,
I have a blow-up bed you could use.
Yeah, but they bought a bed and put it in there. It's not that I don't love my mom and my stepdad. It's that people get this thing about Florida. Florida is like everybody's constantly on vacation. People will just pop into town and they're like, hey man, meet me at 5 o'clock over here. And I'm like, bro, I have to work. And they're like, well, can't you take leave?
What?
And I go, what? If I take vacation every time somebody I know comes to Florida, I will have no vacation for myself. So no.
Yes. So you're GS, right? You're getting you getting 6 hours a pay period or 4?
6.
Yeah. I'm getting the same thing. And once we get 15 years of service, then 8 hours a pay period.
That's 5 more years. I hope at that point I'm getting enough money coming in that I'm a YouTuber now, and support me on my Patreon. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know, whatever comes to mind. Same thing happens out here, and that's like,
look, you need to evacuate that place, man. You need to flee to the south,
bro. If you're a fan of us, you need to move. Yeah, you need to move down here.
You need to
Like,
apply for refugee status. Just get out of that state. Run.
dude, it's gonna learn an important economic lesson here really soon. I mean, Gavin Newsom destroyed the California economy.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but there's so many people leaving and they're mostly high earners. Like, I'm not confident about the future of that state, especially looking 20, 30 years into the future. There's better places to go. It's had its time in the sun.
Well, a lot of those places out west that were ruined by wokeism. I'm drinking a Guinness, man. I'm probably going to switch to a Miller Lite, but I like Modelo's.
I'm drinking water, guys.
Yeah, like I said, I gotta stop drinking during the week because it's ruining my creativity. I'm not writing as much and not doing videos like I should. But like the woke movement, it ruined Oregon, it ruined Seattle, and they're gonna get punished. Like, if I'm a business owner and I make a lot of money and I own my skill, I'm not gonna stay in a place where a bunch of a-holes can just prop up outside my business, chase my customers away, and demand that I pay them a tithe. Pay you a tithe for what? Did you do any work? I'm paying you.
It's protection money. Hey.
Yeah. Hey. But, well, that's what it is. It's mafia tactics. If you don't pay us that tithe, something bad will happen to your business.
South, you want to live next to Aaron, don't you? That's why you want to go to South Dakota. I go to Florida, man. I'm actually seriously thinking about Florida in like 5 years. Like, there's actually there's an agency. Well, my agency, they have a center down there, and I'm like, hey, maybe, if I can get a job down there, I'll do it.
Dude, I would. Out of those, those are all solid choices, man. I'm not hating on South Dakota. There's so much cold up there that people have to deal with that people are way less soft. It's what I was getting angry at this guy at Walmart. I had to like click that off. But he's ringing me up and he's struggling. He's bigger than me. And he's like naturally, and he's struggling to pick up my pellets for my grill, my wood pellets. And I'm just looking at him like, what annoys me about this? I wanted to tell him, what annoys me about you is how soft you are. It bothers me.
How much do these pallets weigh?
It weighed like 20 pounds. With my forearm, with my messed up forearm arm, I could pick it up with one hand with no pain and drop it into the shopping cart. And I'm just looking at
You're like sweating and breathing hard.
Dude, it's like I'm fortunate enough that at the gym I go to use the sauna, I'm meeting a lot of conservative younger people, and they're mostly guys that wrestled in high school and stuff like that. But, dude, after going to the University of South Florida, that's when the woke really started emerging when I was there. And I was like, what is going on with these kids? Why are you all so soft? This wasn't a thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, the only time I saw it at my college, there was like this small group of weirdos. It was maybe like 10 of them. And they would go watch like the vagina monologues. Have you ever heard of that? It's like this thing that came out like 10 years ago. They would all go gather and watch it. But like, it wasn't this huge thing on my campus at the time. I don't know what it's like right now, but I went to a more conservative college anyway. So maybe that's why I was saved most of the BS.
Oh, dude, my boy Nate, who is going there now, he just talks about how bad it is at the University of South Florida.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm done with college. Almost.
This is why these people are stupid and they don't realize it. Because if you weaponize cancel culture, eventually you're going to say something that's not woke, and you're going to have a thought that isn't in line with the orthodoxy. I want to be left alone and my money to last more. We pay on average. bonkers.
That's ridiculous.
Bro, yeah, you got to get out of there, man. We could use some Aztecs down here. To chase away down in Florida, to chase away any soft people coming here. So you can tell them, listen, man, remember why you left the place you left. Don't vote those policies in. And, it's like these people with the open borders, I say to them, I'm like, you do realize that most of the people that come from these places are actually conservatives? Like, once I start working in the taxation, the Mexican community is overwhelmingly conservative.
Yeah, I don't see this like overwhelming blue wave going into perpetuity. Like, I think eventually, a lot of Hispanics are going to shift over to the Republicans. I mean, it may take a long time, but I think it's going to happen.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing about the crisis at the border that I was thinking. Let's grant a lot of these guys amnesty, right? And then let's deport woke people. So that we'll deport the America haters. It'll be like a swap. We'll interview the guy at the border. Be like, why are you coming here, man? Well, I really value your freedom. I really want to work. And, I support America. I'm like, oh, all right. Like, and then interview a woke guy about how America's the worst place ever, and be like, all right, dude, we found a replacement for Steve over here. It's Juan. He comes from Honduras. He's got skills. All right, dude. Hey, Steve, you're going to Honduras now. You can reapply
They won't take him, man. They won't take him.
You can reapply for citizenship when you walk 5,000 miles to the Texas border.
Yeah, that's definitely.
No, dude, I know.
That's so. People like they think that's like all these conservatives like, oh my god, all the country's changing forever. It's never going to be conservative. It's a bunch of BS. I mean, you just have some drama right now with the media stirring people up and making them think they have to vote Democrat, but that ain't going to last forever.
Yeah, there was a little bit of Mexican or a little bit of racism that was thrown around when I was talking to like people back home. They're talking about There's like Mexicans are coming here. I'm like, good. I like Mexicans. They have delicious food and they vote conservative. So I don't know.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, because like most of our immigrants are coming from like, I guess now they're coming from like, I guess Asia, like maybe China, and then from South America. And South America is overwhelmingly conservative, and they're very religious too. And then I can't speak much about the Asians, but I feel like the that comes here is like very conservative, and then like a lot of them become very very leftist.
Well, I was talking to a woman from Chile, and she was talking about like life under it's either Chile or Argentina, one of the two, but under basically like communism, like that she experienced because she's an older woman, and she's like, and I'm like, good. And she talks about how she came here to get away from that, and she sees it in the media, and I'm like, good. Then you need to tell young people. It's like your story of what you saw is important. It's like, I'm offended at Dr. Seuss. Here, talk to this Holocaust survivor about problems. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, though, I really think the news, they just bring up the most ridiculous people and give them a voice. But I will never become communist in America. There's too many people that are super right wing and they're armed and religious. Like it's not going to happen here. But maybe in some states they might do that. Maybe, or at least they'll try. But if they try that, a lot of people are going to leave. So that's the beauty of America. You can move to a different state if you don't like your current state. You can't do that if you live in America.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to come here. But the funniest thing was the gun control bills that they tried to pass, and then they realized how unpopular it is because they have like 12 million new gun owners in this country because everybody during the pandemic ran out and grabbed them. And so Democrats that are like center left are now going, on that whole gun control thing, you can do this with it.
Yeah, I think most people support guns, Like that's the Second Amendment's never going to go away. Like, doesn't it take like 2/3 of states to actually make an amendment to the Constitution?
I don't know.
I think it's something like two. So even if like there was a huge movement and they wanted to amend the Constitution, it takes like the approval of the majority of the states, and there's enough states who will never let that happen. So
no, Texas
is all the BS. It's like whatever. You're gonna take our guns. Okay, yeah. I'm so scared.
Well, dude, yeah, well, dude, Ohio said like if at any point like the federal government tries to come in and disarm the populace, they'll arrest the federal agents.
Yeah, I mean that's probably tough talk, but who knows? I think the people will probably stand up more than the police forces and the National Guard.
Yeah, dude,
because one thing about the military is like, you know, or a lot of cops is like they're always going to be, you know, in a way loyal to the federal government, whereas like the average person, because like their income and their retirement is tied to the federal government, whereas the average person who isn't waiting on a federal pension, they don't care. You know, it's like whatever. What do I have to
do? Yeah. I just went a blank. What else do we want to talk about?
Tesla, AMC.
My Tesla? No. But like when are you gonna contact Jeremy's group?
I need to look at my schedule. I think I'm pretty busy during next week, but I think next weekend I'm pretty free. I've had tutoring and, you know, all this other crap that I'm doing. So I've been busy as hell. And I'm in school too. And I've actually been putting off my tax class. I need to knock that out. My goal is to finish my degree this semester. Otherwise I have to do another semester, and that's going to cost me a lot of money. I don't want to do that.
So you'll have your master's in accounting?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really need it.
Right on, brother. Me too.
Yeah, but like it's partially for my job, because my job's like, well, your CPA doesn't matter, even though it's harder than a master's. So I'm getting that just to check the block. And then maybe I could be a professor.
Dude, I thought about, I'm an immigrant, but I did grow up here. Oh, dude, I say to people, I say, man, look, I hate when you say this is the greatest country in the world, because that depends on metrics. But I always say to people, this is my favorite country, and it's one of the best places in the world to live. I hate that because, you know, I lived in Germany. Germany was also a great place to live. But like America's my favorite country. Nothing like Americana. It's just such a unique culture made up of so many other people.
Yeah, it's a super diverse country. I mean, even like you think white people are white people. Well, no, there's actually like Italians and Germans and English people. You know, there's all sorts of diversity if you like that kind of stuff here.
Well, that's why the whole with politics, when they're like the white vote. I think I've said it before. I'm like, what do you mean the white vote? Like, I'm not going to vote in lockstep with somebody because of the color of their skin. That white dude over there might be a soft, super liberal dude that I want to headbutt, and that black guy over there might like shooting guns and playing video games.
Well, like the funny thing is, like, you know, they show all these like demographic charts of like, oh my God, the Hispanics are taking over and the whites are going away. Well, that's not really true, because a lot of Hispanics are actually white, or when they intermarry, you know, their kids might be white. So it's all a bunch of BS.
The whole thing is stupid anyways. We're all just people on this planet. You know, it's a ridiculous thing. I don't like you because you look slightly different than me. Like, okay, that's your right in a free society, but I think you're stupid. I probably, if somebody around me was like, I don't want to be friends with that guy because he's Hispanic, I'd probably be like, dude, I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah. All right. The one people we don't like in this channel are the Irish.
Yeah.
I think they drink.
Dude, as a guy whose whose ancestry is mostly Welsh and Scottish, there's a little bit of Irish in there. I don't even like that Irish part of my genetics.
Yeah, dude, there's some alcoholism in my family, and I'm wondering, I'm like, where does this come from? Could it possibly be from the Irish?
Dude, my entire line is a line of drinking people. Like
Yeah.
my mom did the ancestry thing. My dad is of German and Irish descent. My mom is of Scottish and Welsh descent, but there's some Swedish in there. So it's like everywhere around, like I'm fucked. Like that's like kind of what all the ethnic groups that I'm made up of did. They just got drunk and got into boats and went other places and got in fights with people. That's pretty much like what they do.
His Irish friend is an alcoholic. I am shocked. Actually, dude, the only reason I'm not an alcoholic is because I have terrible hangovers. So, like, even if I drink a lot, after like 2 days, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So that is the only thing that has saved me from drinking every day.
Well, bro, dude, one of the comedians around here, his name's Stavi Garcia. He's Colombian. He has this great bit about how he hates Irish people, and he's glad. he's glad. He's like, these dumb motherfuckers. He said something to the effect of, they 1 year the potatoes go bad and half of these motherfuckers die.
I wonder if they still grow a lot of potatoes there, or is that kind of like a thing of the past? Like, what percent of their GDP is made of potatoes?
Dude, Ireland's GDP is entirely made up of 50% potato exports and 50% whiskey exports.
It's potato whiskey. Is whiskey made from potatoes?
No, whiskey's made from rye. I think vodka's made from potatoes, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of alcohol that's made from potatoes. I'm surprised they don't have like a lockdown on that market.
No, and in all seriousness, just so I don't get canceled, I really have no problem with anybody from any place in the world. But if I have to shit on people, it's probably going to be the Irish. And as part of my ancestry,
we can get away with shitting on the Irish at least.
Yeah, because it's part of my ancestry. I'm 100% American, but there's some Irish in there in my family.
Oh, I dump on Italians all the time, man. But I can do that. I'm allowed.
Dude, John's like 100% Guinea.
100% Italian?
Mm-hmm.
Which one's John?
John's my buddy that comes on with a different name.
Oh, okay. Why doesn't he show his face? Is he scared? Somebody gonna judge him?
He's scared. He's scared that he's espoused conservative beliefs and hard work on occasion. You can, dude. That's why the great thing about being like a minority when you do comedy is like you can say things that I can't. Like, there's certain words. Racial humor is not really my thing because I think it's like one of the easiest ways to look at things, and it's been done so many times, so I have no interest in it. But like, Stavi being a Colombian crapping on the Irish is hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's allowed to dump on the Irish. I don't think there's not going to be any protests or riots in the streets. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe we'll wake up tomorrow and on the news be like, evil men brutally discriminate against poor, defenseless minority group of the Irish.
No, dude. I've been to Ireland. I love Ireland, but you didn't get crapped on. I don't know which country I like more, Scotland or Ireland. I love going to Scotland, dude.
I've never been to either. I've been to England, but Ireland and Scotland just seem like they're very cold, wet, dreary places. I mean, if Britain's bad, I can imagine that Scotland and Ireland are probably worse.
Oh, that's why you go in the summer, bro. But I mean, even where you are in the winter is far colder than say Edinburgh or Dublin.
There's no way.
Like they don't.
There's no way.
Look it up, bro. Look it up, bro. Like even on the outer Hebridean Isles, like you'll see that like in January, it's like it goes down to only the mid 30s. There's something with the jet stream that causes that. I could bro science out at this point, but then it would just be bro science. Like in August, on a lot of these places, their top temperature is like 65 degrees and they drop to 45, but there's really not that much difference between August and January.
Wow. That's kind of shocking. I mean, yeah, I guess I've never heard of like horrible winters in Scotland, but I know it probably never gets that warm there, like you were saying.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. In the mountains of Scotland, it gets really cold. In the mountains of Ireland, it gets really cold. But like when you're at sea level, like in Dublin, it doesn't get that cold. Just doesn't get warm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of guy, I love like 85 degrees. If I could have 85 year round, I would be happy. Which, I mean, I'm assuming Miami probably has kind of similar to that. It probably gets a little bit colder in the winter, but it's definitely way warmer than here.
I like a little bit more winter than you get in Tampa, St. Pete. I would probably be happier with the Florida Panhandle weather up there. You get some in January, like, because there's so much humidity out here that, when it's like December, I'm like, can I just get a month where there's no humidity? Just a month. I'm going to be happy with that. Drops down to like 40 at night, gets up to like 60 during the day.
Wasn't that old? I think that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
I'll be right back. Yeah, dude, trying to cancel comedians is the most ridiculous thing, and especially trying to cancel a rich comedian like George Lopez. I just come out and go, you can't cancel me. I have a lot of money. I can do whatever I want.
Until they confiscate all your money. No, but one day I'm going to move to Miami. I don't know if any of y'all have been to Miami, but to me, it just sounds like this wonderful paradise where it never gets cold and, there's lots of Cuban people. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of my mind, but I was actually going to go visit Miami on my honeymoon, but it was like in the middle of the pandemic and it was like so freaking far away. I was like, oh, I'll just stop in Orlando. So I stopped in Orlando and spent like 2 or 3 days there. Yeah, that was definitely a while ago. But yeah, I like Orlando. Orlando's nice. During the pandemic, they had like these Disney hotels that a lot of people normally stay at to go to Disney World. They were like $40 a day. It was freaking awesome. So I spent like $120 to stay 3 days in Orlando, right in the middle of the pandemic. And nobody was out. So I got to go, explore and see everything.
We're going to have this guy. We're going to have this guy on.
Juan, would you like to come on one time? Are you a Spurg, as Aaron likes to say?
Who's it? Aaron Cleary. Who is this guy? I've never looked up any.
You'll like him. I've been watching him for like 2 or 3 years. Like I basically watch all his videos. He's hilarious, and he basically thinks like us. He talks a lot about economics, and he talks about dating too, which I don't really go into on this channel, but it's interesting.
If you're out there and you're in St. Pete, I'm looking for an attractive woman that has had a hysterectomy and no desire to have kids. Doing a trip with my kids, I'll definitely check out Miami, dude. You should, man. You'll like Miami, dude. It's filled with Cubans, and I don't know if you know anything about Cubans, but they're awesome, dude. They're always dancing and having a good time, no matter what they're doing.
And I was down in Orlando, and I guess there's some there too. And some of the women aren't bad looking. I'll just say that. I don't want to get in trouble with my wife.
Yeah, dude. No, I know, dude.
I was like, whoa. See, we were gonna go down there to club. Like I was super excited about going to like Orlando dance clubs or whatever. But of course, the virus happened, so everything was freaking closed. They had one bar open in the middle of downtown Orlando. And it was like this outdoor bar that we sat at for like an hour, and then we went home.
Yeah, man. Dude, Florida's been incredible during the lockdown. Yeah, we're going to lock down like 3 months, and then DeSantis is just like, yeah, we're done with that. Just wear a mask, social distance. And then people are just drinking in bars anyways and not social distancing. I love it.
Well, I mean, nobody does that here. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, social distance," and then I go inside my trivia brewery, and it's just packed full of people not wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get you on. I mean, I might start doing live streams every Wednesday, maybe. But if not, we can definitely get you on next Saturday if you're available.
I got two guys.
Juan, just shoot me an email. If you have, it's in the description. Shoot me an email. We can set something up for next week.
Yeah, I got two guys that want to come on a Saturday. They're both comedian. One of them is can't believe I'm forgetting his name, but it's probably just because I've been drinking. But he was the guy that came out and his phone died.
Oh, actually, that guy seemed pretty cool. You know, for the
he's cool.
On.
No, he's cool as shit. And then I got another comedian that wants to come on too. He's a funny guy. We're gonna have to teach these guys about investing though, because they don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So there's actually this guy. He's like this dorky 45-year-old. He made all these videos about Boglehead investing. And if you actually go to bogleheads.org, you can actually watch all the videos. They have links there, and they're on YouTube. But the sad thing is although he's teaching really good stuff, it's just boring as hell. I'll see if I can find it.
Good investing is boring. If you go to the guy, have you heard of the Plain Bagel?
I've seen him a couple times.
Yeah, he's a Canadian guy. He does a video. He goes, "Good investing is boring." It is. You just do this over time with your cash, and you let the effects of your dividends and everything else, inflation in the market, you let it do the work in its time. I was playing around with numbers the other day, and I forget if it's like, if you had just thrown $1,000 at the stock market in like 98 years ago. So if you were 99 years old at the day you were born, if you just thrown $1,000 into the stock market, it would be like $6 million today.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully the trend continues. You know, you never know what's going to happen in the future. And, you know, the one thing I mean, it's a good point. But, like, the one thing I worry about in the future is, you know, we have, like, aging demographics. A lot of countries are actually having, like, really low birth rates. So, you know, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, are we going to continue to see really good stock returns? I don't know.
Yeah, but, I mean, even if you're doing the total world market thing, maybe not, but eventually the dividends are just going to add up. I personally think that we're going to be in for maybe a lost decade coming up here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Thankfully, I was smart enough to save, not get into car loans. Yeah, dude, that's this is the greatest advice. Somehow, with me being a screw up, I always avoided debt. And even though like my portfolio isn't where it needs to be, in my opinion, for my age, that was the number one saving grace. The number one saving grace was no debt, didn't know what to do with money, chuck it into index funds. Just sit there and then learn.
I think people have natural, like, they may not think they know anything about investing, but they have like natural instincts to not go into debt because, you know, they kind of know it doesn't make sense. So even though you didn't know anything about investing, you kind of had like that gut feeling that, you know, made you make the right decisions.
Well, to me, it was always before I really started learning, right? To me, it was always like, well, the more debt I have, the more I have to do because I have to pay for that. But if I don't have any debt, I don't have to work any time to pay that off. So that was like my thought process behind it. It was like in the military, I went and got a bank loan instead of being financed by the dealer, which would have given me whatever amount of money I wanted to borrow. I was like, throw in my money. They're like, we'll loan you up to $7,000 for your vehicle. Okay. $6,500 later, I buy a GMC Sonoma. It's my favorite vehicle I've ever owned. And I'm bummed that I would still have it today if just certain events didn't happen, like me contracting in Iraq, because that's when I sold it. But I love that. I would rather be driving that than this modern car I got out here.
Did you work for Blackwater?
Yeah, I was slaughtering people. No, no, I
Were
just
you, were
went
you one of
out.
those guys that got burned and dragged through the streets?
Dude, I was actually killed in Somalia in 1991. I was one of
Were you
the.
one of the guys that one of the Navy SEALs or whatever Delta Force guys with the snipers that like inserted and protected that down? Was that you? Oh my god!
Yeah, yeah. I know I'm way too young. You think I'm way too young at 42 years old to have been there, but trust me, I was there. And I wouldn't tell you tall tales. So I was beaten to death, and then cryogenically frozen, and then just reanimated later on.
So you're basically like a real life Austin Powers. You get frozen and unfrozen whenever we need you.
Dude, yeah. Dude, do you know what everyone I know had credit cards and were stressing about debt. They would recommend credit cards, but always complain about them. Debt just never. Bro, you're paying 18% per year on that money. So you're really losing 25% because you could have invested that money. That's how much of a killer. This is the thing that people never account for. The interest rate you're paying really isn't that interest rate. It's more because it's opportunity cost.
Yeah. I mean, and you can retire so much faster if you don't have any payments, man. Like I know if I could generate $3,000 a month in passive income, which really isn't that much, I could freaking retire. But if you have payments, well, that you need to generate 5,000, 6,000. Oh, I'm telling you, as soon as I can generate $4,000 a month through like YouTube and disability and book sales, like I'm probably going to tap out of work.
You mean like this book?
Oh, wait, does he have it? Oh, you froze right as you pulled it up. Yeah, I think
Chris, you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up too.
All right, hold on. I'm going to leave this studio.
He's got the Albanistan internet.
Albanistan internet.
Oh my god. I'm alone. I'm in the spotlight. What do I say? What do I do? Guys. Oh man. People and their credit cards. They have to get the best shoes and the newest car and the biggest house. Or they could just retire and do whatever they want. But that's a crazy concept.
This book.
Stop Being a Broke Loser?
Yep. Number one investment book out there.
I've gotten like 15 sales. That's like $30, If I sell 2,000 books a month, I can retire.
Yeah, but you're going to have to write another book because eventually, like, those book sales will diminish. It's not going to be.
Well, my plan is like, as my YouTube grows, I'll probably naturally get more and more book sales. But once I hit a peak level of subscribers, because eventually everybody tops out. At that point, I'll have to write more books. But I'm so busy with like school and tutoring. It's just But I'll definitely write one by the end of this year.
You're going to write another book?
Yeah, I already have one in mind. I mean, I'm kind of brainstorming it, but I have to get through some, Huh? You want me to write a book about you and your time in Somalia? Jay? I can't hear you. All right, now I can hear you. Oh, God. I don't know who I should blame. Is it StreamYard? Is it YouTube? Is it me? Like, have I broken up at all, or is it only Jay? Or neither of us broken up? How close are you to your router?
3 feet.
3 feet?
Yeah. Bro, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade because I can afford it. I'll get better internet. And, yeah. Yeah, I froze up, man. It
Shame on
was showing me. I know it was showing me that Chris froze on me, but I know it's my internet because it's happened with John, and it could even be this computer, which is why I got a new one down there. So I don't know what it is. I'll switch to Verizon, and if I can get it and get off Spectrum,
Well,
because they seem to
you
be
have,
a piece of crap.
is it an old?
2 years ago, it's 2 years old, but it's so packed up with stuff. It's just not running right anymore. And I've seen that these cheap computers are about every 2 years you're going to have to replace them.
Yeah, that's why I finally caved in and got a desktop for like YouTube and tutoring, because every time I get a $400-500 laptop, it just freaking dies. So I know at least this desktop is probably going to last like 5 or 6 years. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, if I start to build my channel, I'll switch over to a desktop because
Yeah, I mean, but think about this, man.
thing,
You might as well just buy it now, because it's almost like investing. It's like you're putting 500 in the S&P, because I mean it's helping you build your channel. So it's almost like an investment, just a different type.
I get it, but I'm going to limp along until I'm about to buy back my federal time, so that's bought back. So if I was canceled, I'll get a pension on top of it because I'm 100%. And I need to do a few things. Like when you ask me like why I'm working, because there's a few things that I need to do. Like I got to have a tree taken down in my yard. That's going to be $2,000, and then there's a few things I need to do to my house. I live in Florida, so storms, I want to put in a generator. That's going to be $5,000. That'll get done next year.
They're really that expensive.
I mean, huh?
Generators are $5,000.
Probably, it might not be. It might be like 2,000, 2,500.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, I have no idea what it costs, but that seems expensive.
When I'm going to buy something, I always overestimate the cost to see the level of importance it is to me. So if I'm willing to pay that $5,000, to have a generator like that, okay, 2,500 is not that bad.
Yeah.
But and so, it is what it is. I mean, people ask me all the time, they're like, why are you still working? And I go, at a certain level, man, it's important to do things that you don't want to do in life. I'm not ever going to be extreme as David Goggins, but I find inspiration in that when he says it's important to do things that suck. It just is. I think that's like a problem in the modern world is people don't want to go sit in a sauna because it's uncomfortable. They don't want to do something that isn't fun. And that doing something that isn't fun gives you the perspective on when you're doing something that is fun. Like I did 30 minutes in the sauna today, and it gives me perspective. I'm sitting here drinking beer with my friend and just BSing about stocks and stuff that I like. Stocks, guns, video games,
Yeah, I mean, I have the same philosophy, and actually, I decided to go on a 15-mile road march like a month and a half ago, and it sucked extremely badly. And like the last lap, I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" But I was at least like, "Hey, I got to suck a little bit, and now I can just sit on this couch and just relax."
Dude, if you did 49 miles, I'm not judging you on tapping out at 49. It's even if you did 25. I would, if I was physically capable, I would love to do massive, yeah. Yeah, dude, you want that because my philosophy on this is like preppers went extreme there for a while, but there's a lot of logic in having X number of weeks or months of food stocked up in a freezer. You have power to get you through. Like if you were in Texas recently and the power went down and you got a generator that you can just switch to, there's zero chance of you freezing to death. And also you wouldn't have froze to death if you just put a terracotta pot in there and a candle. That's just knowledge. We talked about it last time. That's just knowledge you're not really going to have unless you're used to cold weather. Because up north, the power goes out all the time for 7 days in the winter, and people are just fine because they have wood-burning stoves.
I have a sleeping bag left over from the army, so worst comes to worst, I'll just bust that out and just never leave it for 7 days.
Dude, you and your wife in that sleeping bag can easily generate enough body heat to be fine. You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, but am I crazy for having a first aid kit in my house? Ugh,
You're
nothing bad's ever going to happen to me. So yeah, you're stupid.
Yeah, I'm not against any kind of prepping stuff, but I just never get around to like stockpiling enough food. I'm just kind of like, oh, whatever.
Bro, you could stockpile enough food by just getting a pallet of MREs and throwing them somewhere in your house.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, how much is that going to cost? And I could be buying stocks or funding, my emergency savings. It's like, how much that would probably cost a lot of money to get a pallet of MREs. They're not cheap.
Oh, well, no, dude, like a whole thing of them is like $190, and you can just throw those in
pack.
Yeah, like a full pack. It's like $190 on Amazon, and you can just throw those, and those will keep you alive for 7 days. You're fine. You can eat one of them a day, and you're fine. But I forgot to confess to you my investing sin. I got hammered the other night. Bought another share of Alibaba.
Well, it's still kind of low, so you're not making a horrible decision. Like it's not a bad company, You're
I'm
going to
too
be
overweight. I'm too overweight in it. It's a Alibaba by itself is a play on the Chinese economy. So it's rapidly growing middle class.
Well, then they're probably going to reach their tentacles into other countries around China. So they might dominate that whole Asian hemisphere.
Most of the analysts think that there's about a 50% upside on Alibaba, that its price is going to double in the next couple of years from the articles I've read, because I'm way too lazy to do my own analysis. Like, doing analysis? Like, what does this guy think? Oh, yeah, he reappeared. He just had to get I don't want to say anything bad about President Xi because I like living. I don't say anything bad about Vladimir Putin either because I like being here. But Jack Ma, in President Xi's defense, Jack Ma was having a moment of independent thought that needed to be corrected. So he took time away from the spotlight to reflect upon his non-deference to the CCP.
That was a great way to describe it. But on the upside, when he disappeared, didn't the stock tank like 10%? Wasn't that when I messaged you? I was like, dude, Alibaba's down 10%. I was like, yeah. I threw in probably like $300-400 right there. I was like, okay, he's not dead. And even if he is, the company's not going to die.
Yeah, dude. But it's just like, I look at it, I woke up, I'm like, fuck, I bought another share of Alibaba. I'm like, you're already way overweight in your portfolio on this. You have to stop buying Alibaba stuff.
What is it, like 6% or something?
It's like 5% of my portfolio right now.
I mean, you're fine, dude. You're whatever.
I know.
I mean, if it was like Jeremy, like 20, isn't he like 22% Tesla?
He's 22% Tesla, man.
Yeah, that's when you start getting into stupid territory.
Dude, I'm not listening to anybody that tells me that they have 22% in an individual stock unless it's Charlie Munger. And because I think he has that. He's owning 4 or 5 companies. This is bad. Disagree with you, but you're smarter than me. But yeah, if somebody looked at me, it's kind of scary though. Yeah, man. Dude, that's why when people bash America, I'm like, you don't know how good you have it here. You could call President Trump like whatever kind of derogatory comments that you want to make on him. You do that in China and you're making Apple iPhones or Nike shoes.
Yeah, I'm not moving to China anytime soon. I may go visit there in about 10 years, but I'm never moving there. Or anywhere in Asia, because China has an influence everywhere.
Well, dude, I'm fine with going to China because I've done nothing but praise President Xi on this channel. Is it
Yeah,
going to do some
I
research?
don't think they're worrying about us, Jay. I'll be perfectly honest, okay?
Dude, I'll arrive in China, and this President Xi will be like, "Hey, this is that Nagi guy that I saw on Strongman Personal Finance, man.
Imagine if he was one of your subscribers.
He's been a real fan of mine, man. Let me show you around China. Like, I'll go get drunk with President Xi. Like, what are we doing? Like we're whipping Uyghurs because they're not making Nike shoes fast enough. Like, I'm in.
That's the dream, Jay. I'm sure he's one of your subscribers, okay? He's probably watching this live stream right now.
Dude, I know for a fact President Xi bought this book.
I hope he did. I hope he makes that like part of the Communist Party's required reading, you know? Stop being a broke loser. Billions of copies.
What do we think about IPO-E?
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me look at Robinhood, see what that is. Oh. IPO-E. Social Capital Hito Sophia 5. Oh, it's a SPAC, right?
I don't. SPACs are stupid, dude.
Yeah, don't they basically just take companies public that don't really need to go public? I mean, you don't really know what you're buying when you buy into those companies because I guess they just raise money and then use that money to take companies that haven't been able to go public without going through the formal process. So you have no clue what they're gonna do.
Dude, if you get a chance, look at like the amount of SPACs that have been created on a chart in the past 10 years. It's just trending upwards. You know it's a bubble. I don't like to me, unless you're a sound company, I don't buy it. People talk, hey man, are you doing options and puts? Like, no, man, I'm mostly a value investor. I don't know anything about that. I'm not, oh, you're an idiot for not doing options and I don't know what they are, and I don't want to take time to learn them. I'd rather just throw my money at an index fund and go to the beach.
Yeah, I'm just sitting on cash, man. I'm not screwing around with anything. You know, I fund my TSP, I'll max my Roth, whatever. But everything else, I'm just hoarding cash right now because I'm not bullish in the near term for the U.S. stock market. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of irrational exuberance in the market, mainly the EV market. And I just saw this headline. I'm going to warn up front. I got to get on record. Next couple of years, you're going to see anti-aging companies' stocks being brought to market, and that's going to be the next bubble. I just read an article on the Daily Mail about how they reduce the age of like a worm by like 10%. These are technologies that are coming, anti-aging, regenerative medicine. It's just going to take a little bit of time for the public to get on board with it. I personally think CRISPR is way overheated right now for where we are in the technology. You're still in the infancy stage. So that's going to be another bubble that's coming up, but it's like it's impossible to predict winners of those in those fields. Like, it's nice. I'm going to go back to 1997 to buy Amazon. Yeah, you do a boglehead approach. You don't really care. You throw $1,000 in there. You want to see what it does. But there's a myriad of ways that Amazon doesn't exist in its current form.
Yeah, and like I just see historical trends. It's like there's a new exciting technology. People overinvest. Everybody hypes it. It crashes, and then eventually it reconsolidates when it actually becomes legit. So I would never buy into any new hot technologies. So maybe they'll be big in the future, like EVs, I'm sure will be big, but now's not the time to be buying into them right now. Just wait till they crash, buy and hold for the long term.
Have you heard of the bicycle bubble in the late 1890s in England?
That rings a bell. I don't know much about it, though.
Yeah. I was reading an article on Market Watch about it, and apparently in the late 1890s, everybody was buying stock in bicycle companies because that was the new technology that was in vogue. It's just
it happens all the time. It was like, I think it used to be like, you know, well, obviously we had the .com bubble, And I think before that, there was another bubble in like the 60s or 70s. I don't remember
The
exactly
nifty,
what this was.
the nifty 50 in the late
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah, there's
But
always bubbles, always. Just got to be
but
careful, guys.
but that's why I say, like, in my opinion, man, I think we might get more run on the bubbles now, but in my opinion, I think we're going to be in for a flat decade. And that's what you had after the top bubble of the late 90s. I don't think we're as bubbly as it, but there's certainly a lot. And at a certain point, the feds can do what they can do about interest rate until they can't. And then interest rates have to rise.
Yeah, like I still feel like I'm even overweighted in US, because like I'm not total market cap weighted by world because I have a little bit of small cap value and a little bit of real estate. And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, maybe I should just go 100% VT. I got like 45% international, 55% US. Because once you start tilting in those small values, those are American companies. So I'm actually like probably about 65 American, 35 international.
Yeah, and you can do plays, man, with your Boglehead. I like allocating a certain percentage of my portfolio to individual stocks. Do I have any illusions that I'll beat the market? No, but it's just fun for me. There's something to be said. Like, I really think a tough Boglehead to beat is take your percentages: VT, VTI, small cap, mid cap. If you're like run 50% in VT and then divide the rest of it up how you want to divide it, I think it's a really tough portfolio for anybody to beat.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I have small, like I like the small cap value because when you look at VT, it's still super weighted into large caps. So by having that 15%, I have 15% of my Roth in the small cap value. I mean, you're getting a bigger chunk of that market. But other than that, I mean, if you don't care about having small caps, you might as well just have VT. That's it.
Dude, nobody is going to go wrong ever holding the entire world stock market. Yeah, there's going to be guys whose portfolios beat that person's, but as far as a guarantee, there's no better guarantee. Like, I mean, nothing is certain in investing, but VT might be the most certain thing out there.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I just sometimes I'm worried. I'm like, should I just go 100% VT? Like I go back and forth, but right now I'm still, I have 75% VT, and then everything else is in like small caps and a little bit of real estate. So it's not the end of the world, but I'm just slightly overweight US.
Yeah, I really do like the Vanguard Healthcare Fund though, because I just really see an aging population. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't produce 12 to 15% for the next 20 years.
I would just worry about the healthcare system getting nationalized. Like that's the only thing that would concern me because there's probably a lot of insurance companies in there, and you don't know what they're going to do, man. Those insurance companies would go down. If they nationalize the healthcare system.
Oh, dude, that entire thing would be screwed. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got such demand for drugs, and
I mean, it's a really good bet, but like there's always a bearish, part of any investment. Like, yeah, it's a good bet. I don't disagree with you, but there are some downsides.
I would say what you said is accurate. The difference is the Vanguard Healthcare Fund is a bet where VT is not. Because I made the joke before. I go, listen, this is what I tell people at work. I go, I taught some people how to approximate the total stock market in the TSP, and I didn't know what the numbers were. I knew they were around it, but it was from 1 year videos. I knew it was around somewhere. I didn't know if it was 30% or 20%. But when you said small and mid caps were 20% of the market, so you can approximate a total stock market in the TSP. I taught people that, and they go, yeah, but my money's in the safe fund. It's in the bond fund. I go, listen,
that's not safe.
I go, if the entire stock market goes to zero, it's actually Actually, the stock market is safer than the federal government, to be honest with you, because there'll still be companies in the world selling stuff. But
That's a good point. The government can change, but you're still going to have companies. You're still going to have a stock market.
Yeah,
like,
if I had the choice, if I had the choice between betting on any individual company and whether the stock market will still be here, I'm throwing in on the stock market. But I said to her, I go, listen, if the stock market goes to zero and you lost all your money investing that way, you have way bigger problem. And I hope you have a stockpile of lead in the form of bullets.
If the stock market goes to zero, I'm just giving up on life because that's my whole dream of retiring early. So I got 10 rounds of my SKS and that's it. And it's like, all right, you want to come raid my house and kill me? Fine. I'm never going to retire anyway, so you might as well.
No, dude. But I mean, it's fortunately where you work, people are probably semi-educated on the TSP. But when they're like,
no, they're not.
Jesus,
dude. Nobody knows anything about invest. Like, it's so sad. Like, what's a C fund? It's like, dude, don't you have a master's in business administration? Like, come on, you don't know anything. It's sad. Like, and there's always debates about how you should allocate your portfolio, and it's all a bunch of crap because nobody knows. I mean, the only viable method that makes sense to me is just hold it at market cap weights. It's a strategy. And you don't have to change anything. You just buy it and hold it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to worry about selling and reallocating.
I'm rebalancing mine right now. So everything's going into the S and the I fund. Is I want to get it to the point where it's like 50% C fund and then 25% S fund, 25% international fund. Problem is with the international fund, because it's a U.S. thing, they're not allowed to invest in certain emerging markets.
Yeah, that's true. It does kind of piss me off. And I basically have the same portfolio as you. But here's the good thing. So if you look at the L2065 fund, it's basically 100% stocks. And I actually looked it up. They're holding that at market cap weights. So they're factoring in, just the international stocks that they have in there at market cap weights and then the other two funds. So if you just buy the oldest or the furthest out target retirement fund, the L fund, you're going to be market cap weight 100% stocks. So that's just the easiest way to do it, in my opinion.
I didn't know that, man. I might switch over to that. See,
yeah, I just learned that too. Like I always wondered, I was like, how are they determining these percentages in these L funds? And I looked it up, and there's actually an index that has US and the international minus emerging. That's actually a legitimate index. And that's how they weight. That's how they weight the L funds, or at least the stock portion of it. So just do the L2065 fund and then your market cap weight.
I'm probably gonna change my portfolio over to that because it's just easier instead of me having to constantly think about, all right, where am I throwing this now? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I mean, the only downside, if you want to play around and buy more small caps, you're not going to have that many. But if you just want to go market cap weight, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, dude, they do a disservice to these people, and they do it in the military where they tell you like the bond fund or the T-bill fund is the safe fund. And I'm like, okay, first off, the T-bill is the risk-free rate of return, and it's called that because it's guaranteed by the U.S. government. I go, but it's not risk-free.
Nothing is truly risk-free. And then inflation is a risk. Did you know inflation's a risk, buddy boy? What?
Yeah.
Interest rates?
Yeah. And so
interest rate risk?
Yeah. And so I talked to so many people where I explained to them, I go, if you work 40 years and you invest it all in the bond fund versus the C fund, you will lose millions of dollars. They're like, what? I go, yeah. And I explained to them, I'm like, do you know why they tell you that this is the safe fund? because they know you don't know anything about investing and that you'll panic if your portfolio goes down by 40% when COVID hits. And you'll be calling them, what's going on with my money? And so I'm explaining to these people, chuck your money at it and just keep going. Do you guys believe that if in the right business, you can definitely beat the market. I mean, there's plenty of common people that have beaten the market, but I always say this, it's a skill game with an element of luck. Like if I would have just run a 90% Bogle portfolio and I would have made 3 bets in the late 90s, Hanson's Natural Beverage at $1,000 in 1997, Amazon and Apple, just left it alone, my portfolio would have just crushed the market, like by a ridiculous percentage on those returns. So yeah, you can definitely do it. And a Boglehead is the safest way to do it.
You're talking about like starting your own business? Jay walked away in disgust. He doesn't like these questions. You can't beat the market. It's impossible. I mean, in my opinion, anybody can beat the market if they're good enough. But, then again, if you think you're smart enough to beat the market and you don't, then you're really going to underperform most likely. I mean, the vast majority of people just will not beat the market because they don't have the discipline. They don't have the time to do the research. It's tax inefficient because you're constantly buying and selling stocks to, pick the winners and sell the losers. And it's just too much freaking work. Oh, yeah, dude. If you actually start a business, you can 100% beat the market because, if you buy stocks and you're just a normal Joe and you're buying, every month, you're maxing your retirement accounts, you'll have a couple million at retirement. But if you start your own business and it's successful, you could literally become a billionaire like Bill Gates. So, yeah, a business can beat the market, but I wouldn't invest everything in just a business. I would put money in your retirement accounts, obviously, as like a hedge if your business fails, and then you could put the rest of your money and direct it towards your business. So I wouldn't go all or nothing if you want to beat the market with a business.
Yeah, I'm more risk averse than Jeff Bezos. The only thing that pisses me off about Jeff Bezos isn't his money or his fortune. It's that he just keeps funding leftist BS, and he's actually a conservative. Because I know that, because if I was like, hey, Jeff, I'm going to need more of your money, he'd pay off some senator to make that not happen. So it's like, why are you not letting Dr. Seuss on your website, dude?
Did they really take Dr. Seuss off of Amazon?
I think they're going to. Or I didn't check. Dr.
Isn't that
Seuss.
funny? They have my book on there, but they don't have Dr. Seuss. Or they take off Dr. Seuss, but not mine. I guess my book's less politically incorrect than Dr. Seuss.
Dude, they'll take your book down eventually when it's discovered that you're preaching conservative principles of living below your means and not engaging in debt.
I'm pretty much exploiting the poor by living below my means and buying index funds. I'm becoming one of those rich, evil men, and I'm doing it in a very devious and nasty way. I'm actually a little bit ashamed of myself.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You look at like what my income is at this point. I'm doing very well, and yet I haven't bought any new clothes in like a year and a half.
You're hurting our economy. You consume.
Yeah, I don't own any watches. My furniture is picked out of the trash.
My food's picked out of the trash.
Trust me, bro. Like when I was texting you and I was like, bro, if I had just done the condo thing, I could be crushing my investments so much harder. Like my mind didn't even go to, I could buy more stuff. It went to how much I could be crushing my portfolio.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like when I make decisions or I work extra hours, I'm doing that literally so I can put as much into my TSP as possible. That is my guiding principle. Like if I could max my TSP and Roth and still live comfortably after that, I wouldn't work extra hours. It's like I already did what I wanted to do. But until I get there with my job, I'm going to have to do more stuff.
Yeah, I was dude, I'm gonna go to Austin over the summer. I'm gonna really hammer my sets down so they're good. And I'm just gonna go to Austin and just try and crush around there. But I was listening to a Rogan podcast where Kevin Hart was talking about getting into investing, and he starts talking about Starbucks and like why that's a business he would want to own. And I'm just like, I kind of wish I was there to go to him. Like, okay, here's the thing about an individual stock. Starbucks is in fact a great company to own if you purchase it at the right price. And that's the entire problem with buying individual stocks. Are you like, I've made almost 50% since September on my $500 play on Bank of America, right? It's a great company. But the thing is, now that it's $37 a share, I'm not buying it because its PE ratio is near 20. And I'm getting a way lower return on its dividend yield. But it's like that $500 when I bought it at 24 and the dividend was like 3%. No matter what, I'm always earning the 3% dividend on that $500. It's like Warren Buffett's Coca-Cola play.
It's funny because I bought Bank of America at that exact price, and then I sold it, I think at like 30 because like I was getting rid of all my individual stocks, so I sold it. But that's exactly where I bought. I was like, that's a low PE ratio, and it's a pretty. I don't think that company is going to go out of business, so I'm buying.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing of explaining to people. It's like you can actually do quite well buying stocks and selling them just on PE ratio if you actually know that what the core of the company is. You know, Bank of America isn't going anywhere.
Like, yeah, I mean, if you're buying a PE ratio for small companies, you know, you might not do too well. But when it comes to big companies,
yeah, in a big company, you're just like, what's his PE ratio? Oh, it's a bank. It's tough to start a bank because of federal regulations. Okay, it's Bank of America. PE ratio of 12, I think, when I bought it. Like,
that's ridiculous. And compare that to Tesla. It's like 1,000, 1,100. So stupid.
Dude.
Anyway, man, I think I'm going to call it, man. I'm starting to get tired.
No worries, mate. We'll get Juan the Aztec in here, and I'll see if I can get my buddy on next week so we'd have 4 people.
That's cool. Yeah, like I said, Juan, just email me. My email's in the description, and then we'll set you up and get you on here.
Yeah, I was starting to get tired too, dude. I was out in the sun today. And when my pale ass is out in the sun for more than like 30 minutes, I start to get tired at night.
I've been busy, man. I tutor, and I've been out all day, and I freaking ran 4 miles. I'm just done. Like, I'm going to go lay in bed and read my book about the European Union and the Euro and how it's destroying it, apparently. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching some YouTube video and tuning out.
Yeah. You better email me now. Don't forget. Imagine if he was blacked out right now. He completely forgot we invited him.
Yeah. It's like next week he's on. He's like, we're like, hey, man, do you want to come on? And he's like, we already told you could come on. I don't remember. Just hammering beers.
All right. Well, Juan, I'm expecting your email. But all right, man. Thanks for coming on. Good night, Juan.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you during the week. We'll talk about Tesla.
Of course. All right, man. Later.
All right. See you.